So I went and watched The Invisible Man and I decided I've got to do a review on this movie because I have some things I want to talk about. I want to hear what you thought about the movie. Whether or not you want to hear what I thought about it is regardless because, well, you're watching this video, so obviously you do. But I seriously think it could have been so much better. Now, that's not to say I did not like the movie. I did enjoy it. I would say go watch it. But I think it could have been so much better. If you want to hear why I thought that, continue watching. Now, for those that know absolutely nothing about this movie, the storyline is a woman that is in an abusive relationship decides she's going to leave. Then, after she leaves the situation, the husband commits suicide and leaves her $5 million in his will. And then, shortly afterwards, she has things going on in her life that makes her question, is her husband really dead or not? This movie is rated R for strong, bloody violence and language. That's it. 2 things. Now, this one is definitely on the lower scale of an R. Now, I am going to have a future dedicated, like, gore rated, if you will, system going on because I know my level of gore is so much more tolerable than somebody else's. So I'm going to have a dedicated gore system in the future. That way, if I say it's like a 3, I don't know how I'm going to rate it. But just say if I say it's a 3 and you're like, nope, her version of a 3 is my version of a 7 and nope, no. So I'm going to have a future video, so look forward to that. But I bring it up because it is, you know, I talk about why it's R and things. So there is graphic, bloody violence in the film. It is not a focal point of the movie. It is definitely more of a thriller mystery versus the horror aspect. So again, it's if you saw my Ready or Not review when I was talking about the gore in that one, again, if I had to categorize something right now off the top of my head, I would say that was a 3. This is a level 2. That's how tame it is. The gore in this is very minimal. There's 3 or maybe 4 standout scenes. And again, the level of graphicness that you're seeing, it's that far away. It's not up in your close. It's not up close in your face and aggressive. And again, it's not a focal point of the movie. The whole focal point of the movie is the Invisible Man and the mind and mental state and all of that. Now, speaking of the mental state, this is where I have issues with the movie. I wanted more creep. I wanted more mind games. I wanted you to really be playing with my head. Also, the other issue I had was pacing. So, and they kind of go hand in hand. That's why I want to talk about them both and say up front. The creep factor. This is the Invisible Man. Now, I understand build-up and anticipation and working you up. I understand that. I know what it is. However, there were several scenes I thought were just a little long. They should have cut it down a little more. The movie was 2 hours and 4 minutes long. I felt every bit of that 2 hours, 4 minutes. I completely think it could have been an hour 30, hour 45, and it would have been perfectly fine. There are scenes, like one in particular that I can point out is Elizabeth Moth's character, you know, the main character. She walks from one end of the room to the other end of the room and back to the other end of the room. And, you know, this is a thriller mystery, The Invisible Man. I think something's going down, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm eyeballing everything. Like, is something about to move? Is her hair about to fly? You know, what's about to happen? So I'm eyeballing everything in the scene, thinking, you know, well, they're showing this, so it's obviously important. No. Nothing happens. It just shows you that trend, that progress. That's it. There was nothing to it. And I'm like, scenes like that, let's speed it along. Like, I'm not saying I have to have action every second. No, I understand the build-up and the tension and all that. I get that. My point is the point between showing this thing and this thing, there's such a dead space in between that. Not that the whole thing is dead space, but it just takes so long before the next thing happens that I've kind of lost interest. Again, this is me personally. You can completely have a different viewpoint of this movie. But there were just scenes that ran long, in my opinion, and I was just, by the time the next thing happened, I've done lost interest, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he done something else, big whoop. And then there were a lot of scenes where the action was just getting started, and then they would pull away. And I'm like, where are you going? Get back here. Get back into action. And I didn't understand. And again, I understand anticipation and making you wait and making you feel like you're on the edge of your seat. And that's the issue, is not saying I didn't feel on the edge of my seat at any point in the movie, because there were points that took you by surprise and made you go, I'm not saying that, but I did not consistently feel on the edge of my seat. There were moments where I'm on the edge of my seat and nothing's happening, and so I'm back to relaxed, and then the thing happens and I'm like, Except for midway through at the restaurant when that scene happens, that brought me back in, and I was like, okay, I'm back. Pause, hold the phone, what just happened? And I thought it was going to pick up again, and no, it picked up for a little bit, and then it died down again, and then it slowly built up again, and we got the twist. And then when the twist happened, I was like, okay, wasn't expecting that, okay. And it was at that point where it kind of, not that that was the saving grace of the movie, because the saving grace was the ending, basically. But the midpoint with that twist is where this gray area came into play, and that's why I wanted to make the review, so I can get your opinions, because there are those out there that I know that are going to say, nope, it is completely black and white, this is what happened, and no, that other version did not happen. And then there are other people that are like, no, wait a minute, there's a gray area, maybe this chain of events happened. Now, before I get into that aspect, I do want to bring up two films. When I saw the trailer for this movie, I thought we were going to get a mashup of Enough and Hollow Man, and I was like, oh, is it going to be good? Yes. And so if you have not seen Enough, it is a little older. It stars Jennifer Lopez. I highly, highly recommend it. It is very good. In that film, I do want to bring it up and talk about it just for a little bit, just for a moment. In that one, you see the mental and physical abuse that she endures. You see her leave, and you see the consequences of her leaving and everything that transpires. In this film, The Invisible Man, you see the character leave. You hear her retell other characters about the abuse she went through, and then you see the consequences of her leaving. So it does differ in that aspect. Now, I bring that up because if you've seen the movie, you know certain events that transpired, and that's why I'm talking about this gray area, and you're like, what really went down? And then we get toward the end, and again, that's where there are certain people that are really like, nope, certain words were said there at the end that clear and shut, black and white, this is what happened. You cannot tell me any differently. And then there are other people that see that scene and take it a different way, and they're like, I don't know. And that's why I like the character of James. I believe that was his name in the movie. He basically is the viewer at that point, because again, as the viewer, you're seeing obviously the whole movie, the outside, but again, you're given a limited view of things. You're not given the whole spectrum of everything. Even at the end, you're not given the full 100% story. You're still left up to interpretation, and that's what I like about it. Is, again, James, he's like that character, he's us. At the end, he knows certain things that he's been told, and he has to make that decision of what he has to do. And so, it's interesting to see his development of the character. Actor-wise, everyone done a phenomenal job. Elizabeth Moss, if you know her from The Handmaid's Tale. All the emotion she brought to that character in The Handmaid's Tale, you better believe she brought it to this character, and you felt for her. All the other actors, phenomenal. Again, the choreography, having to deal with an invisible man. Those scenes I thought were brilliantly shot. It was a little bit laggy here and there where it was not completely seamless, but that's just me being nitpicky at this part. Obviously I can't do any better. You've seen my videos, but there were certain parts that were like, glitchy, if you will. So it wasn't 100% smooth, but again, that's just being nitpicky at this point. But my main issue was the pacing. It could have been a little faster, and the creep factor. I didn't really go into that, so let's talk about that. I want it to be creeped out more. I wanted the mind games. I wanted to be questioning everything. And yes, there were moments of that in there. But again, back to the pacing. It took forever to get to the next part. And you're like, I've lost the creep factor because, it's just so far and few between. So that's why the pacing was a big issue for me, is it just lost my interest after a while, and so it just kind of fell flat. Now, again, I did enjoy the film. I like it. Did I love it? No. I would recommend watching it. Yeah. But you let me know what you thought of the movie down in the comments down below. Let me know what other movies I should review in the future. Don't forget to give this video a like if y'all like it. Hit that subscribe button to check out what else I'll do in the future. Maybe one of these days I'll end these videos properly without messing up the intro. Let me get out of here. Till next time, bye.